Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's your Uncle Steve on location. Guess where I am? Let's find out in a second. What's going on, everybody? How you doing out there on a Sunday, July 30th? No, July 30th it is. It's almost over. It's almost August. That means football season is right here, right now. And I am currently on location in one of our most hated rivals' places. I'll give you a hint where I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay.
I
Oh.
we are coming to you live from New Orleans. Here, Uncle Steve's Lounge, infiltrating the enemy territory, trying to get together on what to do this year for these futures for the Atlanta Falcons. Now that they have some sports books action down here, decided to come down and try to see what I could make of what to do for the Atlanta Falcons. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me get in touch with my folks out here and see what y'all think about how I should make these wages happen. Before you do all of that, please make sure that you like the video. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please subscribe to the channel. Uncle Steve's Lounge, we're usually in here on Mondays for the Monday Minutia and Fridays for the Friday Brunch. We weren't on this past week, but we are here today. And again, I am here in New Orleans, and I wish I could give you a nice little view from where we are, but it's kind of glary out there where the window is, so that's not going to make for a great picture. But I am here, and I'm trying to tell you, man, if there isn't a city, and again, I'm trying to remove myself from going gaga for Atlanta, for New Orleans Saints fans, but if there isn't a city that is truly embraced, or a city that embraces their football team more than New Orleans, you got to show them to me. My wife and I have had the honor of walking around and just checking out the city, and just like everywhere you go, New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Saints. You know, you see the symbol. Uh, they had a little acronym. What was the acronym, baby?
No one likes Atlanta.
Yeah, NOLA, NOLA. No one likes Atlanta, which I thought was kind of interesting, but it's kind of, I guess, cutesy if you want to say that. But I can't be mad at them for loving their football team, and I'm sure that between Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, they're going to do all they can to make us fall in love with our football team again. I want to thank Brother Tidy and Mark and Brother Stephen that just got off of the live at Atlanta Bird Gang. Please make sure y'all check my brother out. Him and Mark are doing some great things over there on the Atlanta Bird Gang on Facebook. And of course, on the Atlanta Bird Gang YouTube channel. So please make sure y'all check them out, like their video. Had some nice conversation today, especially about training camp. Now, of course, my main reason is for you all to help me win money. So I think who better to ask than all the experts here in the group, and those of you who happen to join me on Uncle Steve's Lounge, because I think we have a lot of knowledgeable folks out there, and I think I can get help. I'm not cutting y'all in for anything, but I will help. I would love to have some of that expertise that a lot of you possess out there. So I appreciate your help, and we'll get to that in a couple of seconds. Also, training camp. And then let me make it clear, I'm not talking about the fan experience. You know, the fan experience is awesome. I had a chance to go to the things they did at the Dome this year for the OTAs, and that was just wonderful and a great atmosphere. From what I've been seeing from a lot of the other content creators and a lot of the folks talking online, that the experience is great, and the Atlanta Falcons do a good job of making the fans feel at home. And I was listening to my schoolmate, Stephen Alford, talk about how there have been more people there than in recent years, maybe mirroring the changes that have been going on with this team. You know, we've turned this roster over like completely since the days of the Super Bowl and things of that matter. That stuff is way in the rearview mirror. We are looking forward to what the Falcons are going to do in 2023. So I think the training camp experience and the excitement is mirroring that. The one thing I have had a question about, though, is at what point is there too much put into what's happening at training camp? Again, I'm not talking about the fan experience. I'm talking about what's going on the field. For example, probably the most lightning rod subject, not only this training camp, but since he was named the starting quarterback, Desmond Ridder. Every day in training camp, I'm literally seeing stats. I'm seeing stats on what he's doing from an accuracy standpoint, from a yard standpoint. Is he overthrowing somebody? Is he, does he look like he has the team? How he's looking on 7-on-7s. And there's a part of me, and I don't want to say it's a cynical part of me, but I guess there is a little part of me that says, wow, we really go that far? Because, I have been open and honest about my pessimistic nature when it comes to Desmond Ridder, but I also want to be fair to him. Yeah, if he overthrows a couple of people, yeah, if he short arms a couple of guys, I'm not going to lose my mind because it's training camp, which training is the word that we're kind of focusing on. I want everyone to just take that deep breath. It's kind of too late for a lot of folks to start talking about, maybe that throw is inaccurate and I don't know if he's the right. And the same thing I was trying to warn people about earlier. It's not a matter of support. We support the young man. We are going to support the young man. We must support him in order for us to have a winning season, quite honestly. Whoever's going to be at that quarterback position. Right now, it's him. But I just want to say the first 2 or 3 days of training camp, and we're acting like the throws that he's making on the field, not getting pressured. I mean, not getting pressured, but not real pressure. They're not tackling him. And we've already extrapolated that out into the worst quarterback that ever put on a football uniform. Again, making it clear that I am one of the people who critiqued possibly not bringing in someone new. But I do think there needs to be a little bit of patience in this particular situation. We are changing the culture here. we are changing the way things have been. The days of Matt Ryan are long gone. The days of looking over there and seeing number 11 throw his hand up for the ball are long gone. The days of Devontae Freeman stealing money from the Atlanta Falcons are long gone. That's for my brother Tidy. So we have kind of turned the page, and boy, it's amazing to me how, I mean, the folks have come for him. So I want to know from your position as fans, is it training camp play on the field? Is it overrated or underrated? And I'll give you another example. I saw something the other day with Michael Walker out on the field. Now, Michael Walker, again, 4th year. Some would say, hey, he should be out there. He should be doing much better in camp, in training camp. He makes a couple of bad plays. Everyone has written him off and trying to find ways to cut him and all of that. Now, if you use the same logic for Desmond Ridder, I mean, why is he not getting the love? I'm just saying. So I want to know what you guys think. Training camp play for the players. Training camp play. When we see it on the field, is it overrated or underrated what we see in late July? Because I'm one of those people that, yes, I'm interested to see what happens day 1 preseason and day 2, or the game 2, I should say. And then the third game, quite honestly, people are trying to make the team. So game 3 in preseason has become a joke. So I'm really not paying attention aside of, the depth we're going to have on the team. And even to a certain extent, preseason to me, yeah. Now, folks like Desmond and Bijan Robinson and some of the veterans who have come on the team, yeah, it's important for them to get out there and jail, because this is the first time these guys have been together with live bullets in a couple of weeks. But I also don't want people to lose their mind. Give Desmond a little bit of a shot. And this is coming from me, of all people. Give Desmond a little shot. Come on now. It's not that bad. I don't think it is. Anyway, let's check out the comments we have in here. Brother John Brooks in the house. Uncle Steve, I just wanted to let you know the Falcons have signed a running back from Seattle. Yeah, I think I saw that. I'm not sure if that's going to be any more than a camp body at the time, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll see. He said the Falcons also signed a running back named John Lovett from the Las Vegas Vipers from the XFL. Again, another case of probably a camp body, but I appreciate the news, Brother John, as always. Atlanta Bird Game, just mentioned Tidy them. They just had a nice show on the other day. And if you don't get a chance, y'all make sure y'all check out the Waffle House edition of Atlanta Bird Game, where those guys go deep into the night to inform you about things going on with the Atlanta Falcons. He said, make sure you tell them you hopped on a private jet to go to NOLA, sir. Well, let me tell you what I did. Yeah, being off the blank, we shared some peanuts on the plane. We had to come down here for business. We'll probably shoot back together, I guess. Oh man, Jonathan Thomas, what's going on, bro? How's the big greasy? It's all right. Look, I came down here focused. They have a sports book here now. They didn't do that before, a long time ago, before things changed a couple of years ago. So now that they have a sports book, we don't have to go all the way to Vegas and change up your time, your mindset on the time, and take a long flight and do that. You can shoot down here real quick and do your thing. So a lot easier to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to go totally overboard about the city. I think it's all right. It's definitely not Atlanta. So it is what it is. Ray in the house. What's going on, sir? Good to see you. Facebook user, I see you in the house. What's going on? Facebook user also said, not upset about that acronym. We don't like them either. Absolutely. Travis says, what's up, Travis? I bet there are no Desbians and Nola. No, not at all. They are all in on Derek Carr here from what things look like, at least. Larry's in the house from the Dixon Way. He and his wife, Shawna, did a great job for the last couple of days. They've been up at training camp, giving you all live reaction of what's going on up there. You guys make sure you check out the Dixon Way on YouTube if you can. Says training camp was fire all 3 days. We were there. Saturday was beyond hype with the crowd. Yeah, I know they built up the fan interaction on Saturday, so that's a good thing that they are doing that as 10. And let's be honest. Quite honestly, they need to build a good rapport with this fan base. They need to get some good things started. I hope they do. Judging by some of the moves they made this summer, they look like they're on the right track to winning this year. Facebook user says no cut. Boo. Larry says there was also a lot of legit optimistic fans. Well, I mean, quite honest, Larry, you're going to have optimistic fans every year. And I want them to be optimistic. I'd rather them be optimistic than pessimistic or downright just disrespectful. But a lot of optimism this year, a lot of new faces, a lot of talent. Facebook user says, I said this Friday night, I'm not going to say anything about Ridder's performance until week 6. That gives him 10 games, and we will know what we have, good or bad. Fair point. Larry went ghetto on us. And Nam, one of these quarterbacks on this roster, has touch going deep. Nam, one of them had been accurate, over 25 yards from what I've seen. Ridder looked better day 1. Heineke better day 2. So again, at some point, it's fair. These are fair criticisms. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, how much stock do you put in late July? Because the bottom line is how it's going to look September 10th against Carolina. Can you correct that? Now, from a standpoint of deep pass being specific, there's not a whole lot you can do. If you can't throw the ball 40 yards in July or 25 yards in July, chances are it's going to be hard for you to kind of master that and get it ready for opening day. But again, it is training camp, so we have a lot of time to do this. Atlanta Burgay says, don't go old Goat Freeman like that. Hey, I got to do him like that. Got to. He was probably up there trying to get autographs. I know they had a lot of former players up there because I know he's not on anybody's roster. So, oh, man. Facebook user say, what's up, with a top 5 offensive line, with a top 5 running game, with the receiver cores that day by day looks better. How good does Desmond need to be for the Falcons to be successful in this offense? I'm going to tell y'all something, and I'm going to say it for the umpteenth millionth time. The quarterback, no matter how you want to characterize it, I don't care. You can bring up Trent Dilfer. You can bring up Brad Johnson, who actually wasn't that bad. You can bring up all these bad quarterbacks all you want to. You don't have success unless you have somebody competent at the most important position in North American sports, and that is the quarterback position. It is fair for people to try to, see if Desmond is going to be the guy, but that's kind of a cop-out. How good does Desmond need to be? He needs to be really good. Because guess what? The quarterback still has to hand it off to the running back. The quarterback still has to read the defense on the other side. The quarterback still has to, these days of the RPO, quarterback has to know what he's doing. And I'm not telling you Desmond Ridder can't do those things, but I am telling you that's very important. We need to recognize that. I think some of you still are playing Madden and think you can substitute any quarterback in there, and just because all your other players have 90 in their ratings, that they're going to do good. Sometimes that doesn't translate. You got to have a balanced team. And I think that's the one thing I do like. It looks like this defense could be interesting. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but yeah, I am really encouraged by what I see from this defense. But I don't want to underplay this narrative that Desmond doesn't have to be that good. He has great running backs. He has the best offensive line in the history of the world. No, we still need a competent quarterback. And I don't care what you think about that. You can play fanboy, a fangirl with Desmond all day, but you need to have competent play. And that's what I'm hoping for. I hope he does. And the young man seems to say the right things and everything. I'm hoping he does come through. I think he will. I think he's going to be better by the time game one comes. I really do. WCG says, I tried to tell everyone Ritter is not an NFL starting quarterback. In a normal draft, he's a 5th or 6th round pick talent-wise. I can't say it's not fair, not a fair statement. He was the 2nd quarterback pick down at number 80-something. The whole NFL passed him by 2 times. And there were teams that needed quarterbacks. So it's fair. Facebook users say you will play exactly the way you practice. The key is to get better every day. That's not exactly true. Someday, first of all, you got to have everybody out there to practice. All of the veterans aren't out there, so that's an incomplete statement. Sometimes you do. I get where you're saying, yeah, it's not exactly how you practice, because guess what? All the players aren't even there yet. So let's see when everybody comes on the field. I'll give you credit on that when preseason comes. But right now for training camp, I think they're just trying to refine some things. 3:30 in the house. What's going on, man? Uncle Steve on the Bird Game. You had some support in keeping it reasonable about Ritter. I appreciate that 3:30. And again, it's not even a matter about being right or wrong. In some of this situation, quite honestly, I would really want to be wrong. I want to turn around and when I look up, see Ritter 15 for 20, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. I want to be wrong about this thing. But that doesn't stop me from having an opinion about what we see so far. And some of the things at training camp that I'm not shocked when people are talking about overthrows and y'all, that's not a shock. He does have to get used to some of his newer teammates, the Matt Hollises, the Bijan Robinsons. Everybody's making a big deal about the almost overthrow to Bijan, and he had to trip over himself to catch the ball. That's going to happen. He's still getting used to these guys. I don't care how many side camps you had in the summertime. Because when you have real defensive players out there trying to check you, things change up. So, yeah, I hear you. Good afternoon, Raymond. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Jeremy Cox in the house. Saints hate will always be top-notch. But is it wrong to currently hate Carolina worse because of Steve Smith's clowning? A lot of people were talking about that. Steve Smith was on with some absolute no-name, just got signed wide receiver the other day. And I say no name. I think he was 2nd round or whatever he was. But anyway, Steve Smith took his shot at Desmond Ritter, saying they don't have a quarterback. Now, he did try to come back and walk it back a little bit and said it wasn't hate. But I think again, these are football players. These are guys Steve Smith just got off the field a couple of years ago. It's not like he's 12 years removed. So he knows what it takes to win. He was calling out Cam Newton on his team in his prime. So sometimes you have to get over somebody doesn't like you or somebody doesn't like something that you just did. Desmond Ritter is going to do a lot of things people don't like. But as an Atlanta Falcon fan, I encourage everyone, instead of posting it out with great stats, talking about 7-13, he overthrew, he was. Yeah, but you know what it should be? The narrative should be, but you know what? That's day 2, day 3 of training camp. Talk to me on game number 2 in preseason. Because that's the last game he'll probably play going into the season. I doubt if they let him play game 3. I would think not. But it's, Facebook user says, "What's up, Unc? How you doing?" Travis says, "I'm critical of Ritter, but a couple of off throws is not going to make me throw my hands up. Regardless of how I feel about him, he's our quarterback, and I will give him a shot. Just prove yourself." And there are more people with this sentiment that Travis says than meets the eye. I have found out in this content creator world that there are so many folks out there that want you to run through the wall for incompetent play. They want you to absolutely tell them that they smell good when they just came out of rolling out of manure. And I just can't do that. I'm not trying to say Desmond Ritter is trash at all. But all I'm saying is, folks, Desmond Ritter right now, this year, it's a good chance he's probably not going to be MVP. And, I'm mentioning that because the second half of this, I'm going to have you guys help me out with some of these picks that I'm making while I'm doing this. But I was looking at regular season MVP, and this list goes pretty deep. So I'm, let's see if I can do that right there. So I'm looking at this list, and obviously everything kind of starts and ends with Patrick Mahomes and everything. But I'm reading the players on this list. Now, read all these players. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrows, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson, folks, Trey Lance. Think I'm lying? I know y'all can't see it right here. Trey Lance. Trey Lance is on the board here in Caesars Sportsbook as a potential MVP. Russell Wilson, Brock Purdy, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, folks, Kenny Pickett. And just to show you how cynical these folks are, you know who's behind Kenny Pickett as a potential MVP candidate in this year? I'm pulling it back. Can y'all see that? Right below Kenny Pickett, right below Kenny Pickett, folks, was Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was right behind him for MVP. So again, it's not the fact that everyone has to be head over heels in love. If that's the way you rock and that's what triggers you, then more power to you. But I want everybody to just kind of, it's got to be even keel with Desmond. Y'all think y'all had it bad last year with Mariota? Oh, wait and see. There are going to be some frustrating moments this year. I don't care how good your offensive line is. I don't care how good your running backs are. You must have a competent quarterback. And we're going to go through some growing pains. I hope it's good, though. It's not, hey, and I love this because I know there'll be folks that'll come back and say whatever they say, which I could care less as a grown adult. But you have to look this thing realistically. I want the cat to be successful. I want him to have a great season. But we can't keep acting like he's going to turn out to be Joe Montana in 3 or 4 games. Now, if he can graduate to, I don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo by the mid-season, And then low end, I don't know, low end, Justin Herbert might be too high. But top 16 by the end of the year, I'll be more than satisfied. So we'll see. Giving Game Sports Talk, what's going on, man? Y'all give my man a shout at his YouTube channel, Giving Game Sports Talk in the house. Smart Ride, what's going on, man? Say, I'm not a Ritter fan, but these expectations are ridiculous. This is his first starting year. All the supporters better ride this out. They don't have a choice. Smart Ride, you already know how I feel about it. They better ride it out. Support this young man as much as you can. He's going to need it. David, what's going on, man? Said first 5 comments on my, oh, no, it's all good. Said, don't know why StreamYard. Man, you must not have paid a bill or something, Dave. I don't know why they got your name not showing, brother. Chadwick in the house. What's going on, Chadwick? Good to see you, man. Hadn't heard from you for a while. Brother Winston is in the house. What's going on? Greg Custom Kicks is in the building. Y'all make sure y'all check Greg out. Hey, you don't have a lot of time left. Y'all want to get those Falcon shoes that first day, that Carolina day. Y'all better get up with Greg and make sure he can get them shoes for you. JJ the Great is in the house. What is going on, sir? Good to see you talking to us. The Dixon Way says, I have to adjust my numbers for Bijan this year. The way Arthur Smith is moving Bijan Robinson all over the field and mostly in passing formations make me think this kid will have at least 700 yards receiving. I was actually talking about that with my son, and we were talking about Bijan is more likely to me to have one of those combination years where I think he might do 800 rushing, 600 or 700 yards, as you alluded to, passing. Yeah. But also keep in mind this, Larry, I don't think Arthur is going to show everything. I think when you start talking about what he's doing out there in training camp, knowing good and well that there's some folks out there sneaking some pictures and seeing what they see, and you got a press that's just hungry for any type of tidbit of information. Maybe he's doing that to throw people off. I don't know. WCG says, if Ritter can't stretch the field, you're going to think the other team has no safeties in the game because my safeties are going to be up with the backers. True. And somebody was saying that. I can't remember what content creator was talking about that this week. Yes, you're going to end up having 8 in the box, and that's not going to be a good situation for us at all. But let's hope that with other things, let's hope that works its way out. I hope. Lisa in the house, what's going on? Lisa says Steve Smith didn't make any videos about those Bryce Young interceptions he had in camp. I'm taking what he says with a grain of salt. He is not giving that same energy to the quarterback of the team he reps. Well, do you expect him to? That would be kind of almost foolish to think he would. That would be like, Peyton Manning, hating on Anthony Richardson. Of course Steve Smith is not going to do that. But again, in a fan base where we're looking for any type of ammunition to say, well, everybody hates us, we got to stop that. Let's let it play out. Who cares with Steve Smith? Steve Smith hadn't been relevant in the last 5 years, but all of a sudden he puts out one video where he kind of sided Atlanta quarterback position. Who cares? It's almost very similar to Sean Payton, who I think needs to watch out too. He came out with this stuff about Nathaniel Hackett. Yes, he had an awful season in Denver last year with Russell Wilson, but yeah, Sean Payton kind of opened the door a little bit on that. Just kind of went in on my man. And he's catching flack from a lot of folks. He kind of walked it back a little bit, tried to blame it on, him having to be honest in his football analysis last year when he was on the Fox show. But yeah, he's got to realize real quick, yeah, bro, you got to play those guys. You got to play the Jets. And boy, don't you know the Jets are going to try to throw up about 50 on them? I think that's week 5. So you got to be careful. You're putting your guys in bad position. Lisa says, Myles Garrett of Fox 5 Sports called Steve Smith out on that hypocrisy too. Yeah, but again, y'all, he's not gonna dog his own quarterback out. Come on now. That's silly. That's like if I talked about Tampa Bay and if I played for Tampa Bay and I know Baker Mayfield is at my quarterback and I just left Tampa Bay a year ago. I'm not gonna dog the man out if I just played for him. That's what Steve Smith is. Steve Smith is Carolina through and through. I don't care if he ended up with the Ravens, his last place. But he's not gonna do that. But I mean, that's not hypocrisy. That's the game. I mean, but again, it's working for fans because y'all triggered. That's part of the game. Steve Smith talking about us. Cameron Jordan talking about us. It's wasted energy, man. Especially when you talk about football players. I can see fan to fan. Football players could care less. JJ says, as someone who supports Ritter, but not exactly a fan of him, not yet anyway, he's looked exactly how I thought he would look this training camp so far. He seems to have gotten better every day. And JJ, that's really what we're talking about. Can he get better day by day? And that's what training camp is all about, quite honestly. That's why it's called training. Training camp. 330 says, so does Arthur Smith start off slowly or open the playbook and roll the dice on his play calling? I don't think he's gonna force feed a lot of stuff. I don't think he's gonna. You remember last year when Desmond had his first game against New Orleans, and the very first play he tried to go deep on the first side. I don't think you're gonna see any of that because that almost seemed. I mean, I could get it last year when things were kind of already lost or coming off the track for the Falcons last year. We couldn't get to the playoffs. I could get that. But as far as this season, you got to have game one. So I don't think Arthur – I think he's going to be super conservative. I think he's going to go to his strengths. It wouldn't be shocked if you see Ritter throw the ball less than 20 times. And I think if you see him throw less than 20 times – it's probably going like we expect. Larry says, I can't wait to see this inner scrimmage with the Dolphins. Those practices in that preseason game will tell if our secondary is really good or our passing game is that bad. True. Because the other players are not going to hold off on you. I mean, I know they have rules during the scrimmages that they do with some of the players. But, yeah, I don't think Miami is going to worry about whether they're banging up on Ritter or all that stuff. So you're absolutely right. That's going to be interesting. He also says, I agree. Arthur Smith isn't showing his hand in training camp, but that said, I've seen more moving Bijan in the lineup than Kyle Pitts, who might be a decoy once again. I also think they're taking their time with Kyle Pitts too, Larry. I don't think they want to, I don't think they want to show their hand completely with him as well, but I also think his energy. I mean, I think they want to just take him slow. I think that injury was a lot more serious than people are putting on. I've still never heard of an MCL taking that long to heal up. Maybe he had a setback that people aren't talking about. Again, somebody of my age and my size, about 10 years ago had the same thing, and it didn't take me 9 months to get back to normal. WCG says, Bryce Young has more talent in his thumb than Ritter has in his whole body, but talent doesn't always translate to the field. That's true. Lisa said, you just said Steve Smith knows the game, so obviously you're giving him some credit about what he said. Yeah, true. I am. I mean, but why are we concerned about Steve Smith? Who cares? I mean, I've seen people are going in on Steve Smith like who cares that he side-eyed Desmond Ritter? And that's what I'm talking about. I know there are some of y'all that go hard like that. I look at the whole thing. might have some truth to that. I don't know. It doesn't bother me like that. JJ says, hate when players and coaches try to walk it back after saying something crazy about someone else. Nah, stand on what you said, Sean Payton. Yeah, Sean Payton, he put his foot in his mouth on that one. Yeah, that was just kind of jacked up how he did that. And trust me, a lot of folks didn't like Sean Payton when he was in New Orleans. Remember, he had to sit out that season too. A lot of people almost put him in that Belichick category as far as his fraternity of coaches. Sean Payton is not beloved as people think. So him coming out, now that's friendly fire on each other. Steve Smith is a retired player talking about a current player in his personal opinion. That's what people do every day. But Sean Payton actively talking about another coach, and albeit not a head coach, but still a OC at another team, and kind of coming out at him like that. Yeah, that was kind of low end right there. Lyrics mom in the house. Kiki, how you doing? Says, but he does dog out Cam. Well, remember him and Cam also had some history too on their practices. They definitely had some, in between, some go-in-betweens in that. And y'all make sure y'all check Kiki out with the guys on One Time for the Fan, Jack Spade and the fellas over there doing their thing. So y'all make sure y'all check them out during the week. They might have something today. I'm not sure. I know they usually come on Sundays. So y'all make sure y'all check them out. Dixon Wade says Steve Smith works the official Panthers training camp coverage. So, of course, he isn't going to talk about Bryce Young 3 interception camp day. Of course not. Of course he won't. Because he knows where he's getting paid. He might talk about it, but he's going to act like he's 3 interceptions a day, but that's going to make him better. It's kind of the same way a lot of folks are doing about Desmond Ridder. And that's the thing. All of this is going to come out in the wash, folks, in, 6 weeks? 6 weeks, all of this is going to come out in the wash. We're up there in the bins. Nobody's going to be thinking about the 2 interceptions in camp. Nobody's going to be thinking about overthrowing somebody. Nobody's going to think about the catch Bijan made. Nobody's going to think about Jesse Bates getting beat by Jonnu Smith. Nobody's going to be thinking about Troy Anderson getting beat off the line. They're going to be focused on game 1 and what's happening there. That's why, hence, I say, is training camp play overrated or underrated? Going back to what somebody was saying about actually practicing. Yes, you do need to practice. Of course, practice makes perfect. That's where you're going. But I'm saying like the absolute finite dissection of each. Did you see his arm angle on that? Did you see how he looked? Did you see the body language he had? Yeah, I think that's a little deep when you start talking about training camp. And trust me, folks go that deep on there. Lisa says, are there not other teams in the NFC South, Steve? Fine if he's not talking about Bryce, but no comments on Carr or Mayfield. Yeah. Again, and this is great. They love when y'all do this. When y'all focus on him and worried about you know what? Maybe he does have hate for the Falcons. So what? How is that going to change the Falcons' training or what they do going forward? That Steve Smith is not losing any sleep. And obviously, we're talking about it. I've seen other content creators talking about it as if Steve Smith is the Antichrist. And sometimes you got to kind of, dial down and realize that man just gave his opinion, just like we giving our opinion. There are some people that probably come in here and hear us say Desmond Ridder is going to have a great year. He's going to be top 15 and all this and all that. And they say, what are they smoking in the Atlanta Falcons fan world? So I'm not dying on the cross for Steve Smith in his comments. So Lisa said, then Steve Smith tried to walk his comments back. Why? He said what he said. Because I think he probably answering fans like you that probably are more, ride or die and don't talk about my baby or something like that. I mean, some of y'all have adopted Desmond as this little kid with Pampers, and he can't take up for himself. Desmond Ritter is going to be fine with criticism. It's okay. It's okay. He's going to be fine. If he wasn't, he'll need to have the job. I'm sure he sees everything and hears everything that people are saying about him. He'll be fine. He better be fine. Larry says, I'm more worried about Arthur Smith being able to coach Ritter up more than Ritter himself, to be honest. Yes, Ritter has to improve, but Arthur has to be the guy that turns a third-round pick into a legit starter. Well, that was a decision made by the organization. So it's too late now to second-guess the decision. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Arthur and Terry. They made the decision. They made the big rollout that he's going to be quarterback one. And this is going to be something that's going to be judged. The guy who's in our organization right now, Ryan Pace, the reason why he's not in Chicago anymore is because he made an organizational decision to trade up to go get Mitch Trubisky, who is languishing on the bench behind a second-year quarterback in Ryan Pickett. So this is pretty much a Hail Mary from Terry and Arthur. I don't want to think about what we're going to do next year because I know people are already talking about, oh, what if he fades? We're going to tank. We're going to get Caleb Williams, all that nonsense. I'm going to play it out, guys. Let's play it out and see what happens. But they definitely put all their eggs in one basket. That's for sure. Jeremy Cox says, I'm not mad at Steve Smith. It's just fun hate, seeing as how we have Carolina in week one. That's my thought on it. I'm not losing my mind over Steve Smith. Matter of fact, this is the most I said Steve Smith, and my name is Steven. So I've said Steve more in this last 20 minutes than I've said all week. You don't lose your mind on Steve Smith. Worry about what's going on at Flowery Branch. Larry said, that's fair with Pitts. Just take it easy and don't get hurt. Absolutely. Yeah, because you've seen things. Oh, my goodness. Joe Burrow. God, I hope that's not serious. I mean, not even in the sense of what you don't want to do. Like when you get to the games and someone happens to be hurt, of course you want to take advantage of what it is. But what I don't like when major people get hurt. It's not good for the game. Joe Burrow is one of those guys. I hope he comes back. Jalen Ramsey is a decent defensive back. I hope he comes back. Because you want to play teams at their best. That's the only way you can judge yourself. You can't judge yourself up against second string and third string guys. So when we have this camp, Eli Apple is coming on the field. Who would you rather, if you're Drake London, go against? Eli Apple or Jalen Ramsey? So you want to go against the best. So that's why I think that's that's how you have to do these things. Dixon Wade says 22 in the chat. No, the 13 likes. Oh, thank you so much. Hit that like button, people, for this good content. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And he is correct. If you have that small second that you could take your finger and go push that like button, I would appreciate it. That helps to get this algorithm out there so we can get this content and other good Falcons content into the atmosphere. And I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. JJ the Great said, I could honestly care less what Steve Smith has to say, especially as a Falcon player. He's a Panther. And that team and their fan base stays trying to force a rivalry with us like we have with the Saints. And that's a very good point. Steve Smith, when he played, he was that guy. He was that little fiery guy that always tried to start some stuff. And if you really kept up with his history, that's what he does. It's no secret, y'all. He absolutely tries to push buttons. And with some of y'all, it's working like a charm. So, we are just worried about this guy. This is really crazy. Lisa says, right. I don't even consider the Panthers rivals. They just happen to play in the same division as us. Our rivals are the Aints. Lyrics Mom says, Steve Smith definitely trying to create a rivalry, but I feel like the Panthers are annoying little brothers. That's actually a good characterization of that. Stephon Mosley's in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing? Lisa Sepper said, Aints were at our training camp. It never fails. They show up every year. I will leave this earth never having attending an Aints training camp. Now, that's where you start crossing the line, Lisa. When you start talking about our main rival folks coming over to the camp, that's 20 times worse than Steve Smith giving side eye to the team. I'm kind of worried about that. If I walked into New Orleans training camp with my full Falcon armor on, I mean, that would just be kind of weird for training camp. So when I see that, yeah, that was kind of strange to me. I'm kind of surprised they didn't turn them back. So that's awesome. Stephen J. Alford, what's going on, man? I saw you over there on the Atlanta Bird game, brother. You go when we throw things out here and put this link in here, we're gonna have to get you on here with your brother and talk these Falcons like you were doing, and just some good talk with Tidy and Mark over there. Said the best way to quiet the critics is to ball out. Let's go. Plain and simple. Not even that hard, y'all. JJ said, maybe if Carolina does what they've never been able to do and sweep us on a consistent basis, then maybe a rivalry can form. And that's true. We've kind of owned Carolina. Even in the midst of Cam's prime, we still used to split with them the majority of time. When you think about even the year they were perfect going into the not going into the Super Bowl, the year they were almost perfect, the one blemish was to Atlanta, team that they had beat by 30-something points 2 weeks prior. So I don't think Atlanta looks at Carolina as a major rival, but I will tell you this, 2023, I think we might need to keep our eye on the Panthers, because I do think, quite honestly, of all the teams, if you took the quarterback out of the situation, the Panthers are not to be taken lightly to me. I think they had the best young nucleus of all the teams in the NFC South, and they're going to probably be our biggest test. I still think the Falcons are going to have enough to win the NFC South, but I do feel like the Carolina Panthers are definitely someone to be reckoned with. Testing sources, what's going on? Thumbs up, appreciate you. Scooter in the house, what's going on, man? Good to see you. And DR9 isn't a 14-year vet like Matt Ryan. No pressure to keep him in the game if he sucks. Now, that's really a good point. Not at all. No pressure whatsoever. John says Steve Smith is like Skip Bayless. Skip doesn't even like the Hawks, and Steve Smith doesn't like the Falcons. Plain and simple. I don't put much stock into what Steve Smith says or Skip Bayless. True. Larry says, let's talk about the secondary, Steve. Okuda, AJ, and CP3 and Bates are going to shut teams down. I know everybody's making so much of the little film they had of Drake London and Clark Phillips. And Clark Phillips, I told people when they made that pick, it's rare that I have a dossier of a lot of the players after the second round. Quite honestly, I have friends who keep up with that. When you talk about my brother, Big Low Country Sports, and Antoine Smitty Smith on Smitty Sports Machine, and Alberto on 95 North, those guys are deep divers into those situations like that, and they could probably tell you undrafted free agents that pop up on the radar. When I saw Clark Phillips get drafted by us, I was thrown back to the game a couple of years ago when Utah played USC. And remember now, USC, this is not Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush USC. This is different USC. And Clark Phillips was taking care of his business against Drake. So when that little tape came out, I know a lot of people were making a lot of that. Like, oh man, who is this kid? He was that. No, he's that guy. And don't be surprised if Okuda, who looks like he's making a couple of good plays, happens to lose a step or end up the trade wasn't what we thought it was going to be, which I think it is. Clark Phillips is going to be ready to come in there and do his thing. So to your point, Larry, the secondary is something to be talked about and also with the defense. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. So we'll see how that works out as far as these guys are concerned on the defense. I think Ryan Nielsen is going to have some pretty good folks coming in here. Dixon Way says, I'm not paying Steve Smith any mind, to be honest. And I hope Ritter uses it as fuel in game 1. Other than that, who cares? And that's my thought. That's truly my thought as far as that's concerned. So we talk a lot about training camp, folks, but to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I came on here today, because I need your help. I'm here in New Orleans. I'm ready to go to the sports book here, Caesar Sportsbook. And so I need some help. So if y'all saw what I did, I put in the chat, I put the link in there. So what I want to do is I want to get a good panel of about 3 or 4 y'all that can help me go through these futures that we have on here so I know where to invest my money. I know I have some folks out there who can help me out. So if you do, come into the chat. I'll pull you up as we still continuing to read some of the comments on here. And I'm going to go through some of the bets that they have. And keep in mind that when I do this, none of you are going to be able to monetarily get the rewards from this, but you will at least benefit from knowing that you got your uncle some good coming up. Larry,
I don't want no
Larry
money,
like,
bro.
oh, I'm scream now because I was gonna get some.
What's going on, Steve?
How you doing, brother? Is everything all right?
I'm good, man. Check out Mother's. Me and the wife went there, ate some good New Orleans food when we was down there. So check that out when you're down there.
You know what? And I've gotten so many. I'm glad you said that. Mother's, Ragones. Today we checked out Ruby Slippers.
Okay, yeah, we heard of that. Yeah,
as well. So I'm looking forward to any suggestions that anyone has as far as that's concerned. Now we kind of down to the nitty gritty on a couple of these things. So hopefully we don't we have a little bit of time.
And the funny thing is, man, what struck me by so much when first time I went to New Orleans is how much I actually like the city.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be like, damn this city, damn these Saints fans and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But no, the city cool. I ain't stink down in Bourbon Street. But other than that, I mean, the city pretty cool. You know?
Yeah.
I wore my Braves, Hawks, Falcons everywhere, dog. I wasn't playing. I'm gonna wear it. Stop playing with me, man.
You do that because you're that guy. So I trust you. I came incognito this time because I didn't want any problems. All I wanted to come and get my little sports bet, spend some time with the wife, and do some things down here. So all I
heard was who that's going down, and I would say we that.
Him and his wife.
Coming down the street.
Oh. Are you going out there this month?
How you doing?
What's going on, fella?
What's going on?
Ain't doing too much. I had with the old lady trying to beat the heat at the pool.
trying to talk to dad, bud, and they're doing. And speaking of granddad, here's John Harrison live from the back here, as always. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Joe?
Yeah,
Hey man, what's going on, y'all? Hey Steve.
What's going on, John?
What's up, brother?
Don't get none of that on you down there. Don't get none of that on you. Don't get none of that on you, cause see, man, that's kind of hard to get out of your clothes and out your hair and all that stuff there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, let me tell you something. Walk quite a bit. What you're saying. To the picks, fellas, I'm gonna go down these line. Lisa Shepard says, "Good news show." Steve and Steven, both of y'all have great takes. That's thank you so much. I told Steven I'd love to catch up with him. I'm sure we'll cross paths coming down here. Also, WCG says, "Think D Alford is ahead of Clark Phillips for CB." I'm not telling you that D Alford isn't gonna be there. I'm saying Clark Phillips is gonna be a roster problem. Because he's not going to be
taking that job.
So he's going to be somebody that you're going to have to say in a couple of years. Diop, is that solidified? Or if Okuda steps back, that's kind of, we're going to have problems with that. Somebody's here who's not too far away from me. This Kira Johnson. That's my wife. Says, "Yes, y'all, please help him, as this delay in picking is delaying my beignets." Yeah. So another the quicker I get this done, the quicker I can do this. Anthony Moss also says, "Check out Zia's too. They have good food there." I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. John Brooks says someone has that. That's probably Winston. He's over there swimming in his luxurious pool and doing his thing. Listen, fellas, so I'm here and I have the Caesars futures here right now. It is so weird. I don't know if y'all out here the Caesars before and bet. You can't bet until you get close to the sports room, which I think is ingenious that they do it like that. But once you get here, they have everything here. So we have regular season wins, exact regular season win totals, total wins in the division, Super Bowl, all kinds of stuff. So listen, so since I have this panel right here, and anybody else that wants to jump in, please. I appreciate that. Stefan said Oshina is fire too. Thank you much. These are a lot of places. I know we probably gonna only be able to do one of them on. So listen, I want to go through a couple of things with you guys as far as the game is concerned, because I want to do a parlay. I want to do a 3-game parlay and a 5-game parlay. So I need some help on you guys telling me for week 1 which way I should go. Okay.
All right. Shoot.
All right. So that's the plan. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, Scooter said you should be able to bet anyway. Yeah, soon. But that's what I'm saying. I'll put it this way, Scooter. I flew in, so I couldn't get the location thing to pop in when I was flying over Mississippi. So obviously, when we got to Louisiana, it popped in and did it. So that's more what I was really saying. Okay, so y'all help me out. I'm gonna go through each game, and whatever the consensus say, that's what I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna combine these games up into a 3-game and 5-game parlay and make a bet. How about that? Is that cool?
All right. Cool.
And it's understood you will get any money. So I don't want that to be
we good, man.
All right. So let's start with the Detroit Lions in Kansas City. Kansas City is at home and they are favored by 7. What are we taking in that? Go ahead.
I'm taking the
Go
over.
ahead, y'all. Kansas City?
Over, yeah, Kansas City. Racket.
Okay. Now over is 54. Now yeah, matter of fact, I'll do that too. I'll give y'all the over under and the point spread. Point spread is 7 points. The over under is 54.
I'll
Larry,
take the
where
point
you at?
spread instead. I'll take the point spread instead. Point spread.
Larry
KC.
says he'll take
KC.
KC and take the 7. And what about you, John? What happened to your voice, John? You are muted for some way.
Yeah, you muted. And Winston muted too.
Muted.
No,
Winston,
I muted myself. I was coming out of the pool.
Oh, okay.
John just had a long night. He said trying to catch up with the time schedule and thing.
What you say for Kansas City? 7 point favorite at home.
We're getting the echo from you, Winston.
Hey, can y'all hear
Hey,
me?
Winston. I can hear you now.
Yeah, I hear you now, John.
Oh,
got, John?
okay. All right. I
Kansas
guess
City.
I need some more water in my phone.
We'll go to you. We'll go to you, John. Kansas City 7 point favorite. Over under 54. What are you gonna take?
Taking the points.
Over. Kansas over.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Kansas City? Kansas City. Winston, what you got on now?
What the points go to Kansas City, right? What is it? They have them at 7.
Detroit is getting. Detroit is
getting 7, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Detroit. I got them. I have
Close
Detroit
game.
losing. I have Detroit losing by roughly
But
5
cover.
points. But it will cover the spread.
Okay.
You gotta think about it. You gotta look at their defense. Look how they finished their year.
Okay. David says he's gonna take the take them. All right, next game. Real quick. My wife is waiting. Tennessee is going to New Orleans. They're giving Tennessee 3 points, and the over/under is 41. What you got, Larry?
Oh, I couldn't hear. Hold on. French fries? Okay, I'll go get you something soon, son. Repeat that for me, please.
Okay, we got Tennessee going to Saints. They have the Saints as a 3 point favorite. The over/under 41.
I'll pick the Saints over on 3. I think they win that by a touchdown.
Saints,
Or 4
Tennessee.
points. Yeah, I take the Saints.
I think I'm leaning in that direction too. What you got, Winston, on that one? Winston has gone mute on us. I hate to take them bums, but I have to. I'm gonna pull Winston down until he gets his stuff together. Larry, just gonna be me and you for a minute.
All right, let's go. Let's get
it. To Houston and Baltimore. Baltimore is a 9.5 point favorite. The over/under is 44.5.
I think Baltimore gonna win by at least 10. I think the combination of Lamar and OBJ, especially unveiling it, is gonna be a little bit too much for D'Amico Ryans coming out. He's a great young defensive. I know, son. We're gonna go. Okay.
He said
I think he's a great. Yeah, he like French fries. So I'm probably gonna go and get him some. All right, son. I'm almost finished. I think that they're going to unveil a devastating offense, and they drafted Flowers too. So yeah, I think that offense is going to be humming. What was the number?
44 and a half. 44 and a half. Keep it in
I
mind
think
now.
they might dump at least. I think they're gonna dump at least 27 on them. So I'll take the over.
Okay. You think CJ gonna pull up more than 20? Or close to 20? That's what you pretty much saying. If you saying Baltimore gonna get 20.
If they score 20 and they score 27, there you go. Jumanji.
Makes sense to me. All right, 49ers.
But no, they
traveling.
they gotta score more than that because I picked the over on the 9, so they gotta score at least 32 or 35 or something like that. To be honest,
I don't think
since I picked 9.
I don't think
You don't think
Houston's
Tennessee gonna score 20? Okay.
Houston,
I think it's gonna be a blowout regardless. Huh?
Houston, not Tennessee. Houston, Baltimore, Houston.
Oh, Baltimore, Houston. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Scratch that. I ain't messing with that over under with the number, with the total. No, I'm not touching that. I would go under actually, because I don't think their offense gonna do well. I think CJ Stroud and their offensive line still ain't got fixed yet. So I like the young kid, but he gonna struggle against that Baltimore defense for sure. So yeah.
David helping me
44,
out.
take the under, and Baltimore score about 27. They might score 12. It might be like 4 field goals, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. 49ers going to Pittsburgh. 49ers are 3-point favorite going to Pittsburgh. And the over-under is 41.
That seemed like a trap game to me. Everything screams 49ers.
Right.
Well, we know that coach over there don't play in Pittsburgh. So the key is kind of like with Ritter is with Pitts. I mean, with Pickett. Yeah. Will he develop coming into year 2? My mind is telling me no. I'm on Steve's show. I got to sing a little bit, but
oh man, I think Winston might fix it.
I'm gonna pick San Francisco over 3, but I'm not touching the total. I'm not touching the total.
That's a freaky number out there because Pittsburgh at home might be good. They question how's elbow. He says the coach said that he's going to start practicing, David.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that it might be okay by week 1. So I think even if Purdy is not 100%, which I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be fine. I still think they got enough to do that. To your point, Larry, I'm kind of tricky with that over under. I don't know if I want to
that over under. I don't want to touch that.
Winston, what you got on that? Frisco, 3-point favorites. Pittsburgh.
Frisco. I mean, like, let's be honest. San Francisco literally had the most complete team in the NFL. From top to bottom, throughout their whole roster and their depth, they had the most complete team in the NFL. So
I'll argue Philly had the most.
No, Philly had most defensive depth than everybody, but overall team, you got to think about it. They played 4 different quarterbacks last year, and
but they had to run.
But that's MVP. More coaching.
Yeah, they had to run up to the MVP, and they had Miles Sanders and Gainwell, and what's the other little kid that was making a nice little trifecta back there in the backfield?
Miles Sanders in Carolina now.
Say what now?
Miles Sanders in Carolina.
You said last year. You said last year they had the most.
You said last year. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Philly.
I'm talking about this year because what we're talking about the games of this year. So therefore,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's
San
fine.
Francisco definitely had the better team. Think about all the pieces that Philly lost on defense
Yeah,
in the
that's
offseason.
True.
okay.
Philly lost a lot of people on defense.
Okay.
But we just
I
so
let-
used the last 4 years that they've been so strong on defense that we overlooking it. But Philly lost a lot of key pieces on defense.
Got it.
So is
All
San
right,
Francisco your favorite coming out of the NFC, Winston?
I put it to you like this. The way that San Francisco is built, if we can get in the playoff and win a couple games, the way that we are built, we could beat San Francisco. We can beat San Francisco and run the ball. It's gonna be a low scoring game, but we could beat them around like 16-13.
I
They're
have
So
only
that same feeling
I'm
too.
not labeling I'm not labeling a champ right now, but San Francisco is my front runner for the NFC. But
yeah.
if we get in the playoff, if we make it to the playoff, and we clicking on all cylinders like we should, we can beat San Francisco.
On paper,
It wouldn't
coming in.
it wouldn't be a win like we had last year when they had 9 starters out.
Yeah.
Well, I
It would be
disagree
a
with you.
legitimate head up win.
I disagree with you because there are only two teams that I think we don't even need to start talking about even comparing ourselves to and probably beating, and that's Philadelphia and San Francisco. And in the NFC. I'm not telling you that things don't happen just like they did last year when Frisco came in here banged up and everything like that. So I'm talking about right now as constructed. Philadelphia and San Francisco are up here in the NFC, and I think the rest of the 14 teams in the NFC are all fair game, from Tampa Bay to Minnesota. So I think it's I think it's always going to be. I'm gonna go by real quick though, Winston, though, because I'm for real trying to get out of here. So
You got to get up out of here.
real quick, and I'm gonna say the here for another day. So I just want to get the picks from y'all. Okay, Arizona and going to Washington is 6-point favorite. Over under is 40 points. What you got, Winston?
You said Washington who?
Arizona at Washington.
Washington will cover. I go with the over. I got Washington going at least. Washington winning about 31 to 21.
David
Washington.
says Washington. What you got, Larry? Talk to me.
Washington Commanders all day. I don't know about the over under with the total, because again, I wouldn't touch that. Yeah, I would not touch that. Now,
that's what
the thing is, Bieniemy should have that offense rolling. I believe in Bieniemy, but I just don't know quite if I'm gonna go over on them. I have to see them at least 3 games before I would even think about doing an over under on a total point with them.
Which week is this game?
This week 1. He talking about week 1.
Week 1?
This is week 1.
Yeah. Washington.
Yeah.
Washington will come out the gate wide open.
Yeah.
They're gonna slow down. They're gonna slow down because you gotta think about it, like Washington have a whole nother offensive system going on. They will come out the gate wide open because teams haven't seen this from Washington. They will come out the gate wide open. They can roll for about 2-3 weeks, and then they're gonna slow down, and then they'll find their groove. But their first 2-3 weeks, expect Washington to hang about 30 points. The same thing Detroit did last year.
Especially after we got to think about getting rid of Daniel Snyder, all that drama gone. You know, a lot of people, all that pressure and stuff like that. A new beginning, a fresh new start. I think Washington's gonna jump out the gate real fast. So I definitely would take the over on the point spread, but total, I ain't touching it.
The total is 40, right?
40.
What was it? 45?
No, 40. 40.
Yeah, it's 40. So even if Washington jump out the gate and go for 28 in the first game, and Arizona do 17, they still cover. I'm telling you,
I
like
just don't know about Arizona.
Washington
Arizona feel like they trying to tank.
Huh?
Arizona feel like they trying. Look, in the preseason, Arizona, it's been too many rumors about them trying to move Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? It feel like they want to hit the reset button. To me, they see the light down the tunnel, and they see that Seattle done passed them. They see that San Francisco is in clear control of that division, and I think they look at their division and be like, man, what are we gonna do, really?
See, Arizona's in a terrible position because, for one, you just gave this quarterback all this money, but he's underperforming.
And he almost was a Falcon. If they if they would have took more money, he would have been a Falcon.
How can I move him?
Well, they just found out.
31 teams around the league center and seeing what he's doing. Now, is it he's underperforming because of the coaching and the scheme, or is he underperforming because what we thought he would have a problem with and it's showing up in the league?
Well, remember this. He's not even going to be in the equation week 1. So I'm not even going to worry about him for right now because he's not going to be in camp. He's not going to be in preseason. He's not going to be on the field at all for week 1. So I think that let me slip on.
Okay, true.
So we can get up out of here. This ought to be kind of intriguing right here. In AFC South champs, Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Colts and Anthony. They give the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 43.5. What you got, Larry?
That's the easiest bet. Jaguars. Jonathan Taylor gonna be holding out. They got no hope. They caught? Come on, man. I know Anthony Richardson threw a one-legged 40-yard pass off balance on a dime, but guess what? When the regular season start, the Jaguars gonna put it on them, man. They're gonna beat them by at least 2 touchdowns. Run that. That's easy. That's easy money. That's actually the easiest bet you ask.
Says the Jags. If it says the Jags and the under on that, what you got, Winston?
What's the spread?
3.5.
Who?
3.5. Jacksonville's favorite over the Colts.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I will put it. I wouldn't play that. For the simple reason of this, Jonathan Taylor literally just came out last week and asked for a trade. The whole reason why he asked for a trade was because he said he wanted to get paid now and get his contract extension done now instead of having to play it another year. They said they will not trade him. So therefore, he's going to come in this season back healthy and be on a war tear. So I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play the over and under. I think Jacksonville will probably win, but I wouldn't play the points on it.
Okay. These last 2 are the most intriguing I got on here, y'all. This is going to be interesting. Rams, after their last year after the Super Bowl, go into Seattle, and Seattle is actually who traditionally plays well at home. 5.5-point favorite. Over under 47. What you got on that one?
Ooh. 5.5.
Seattle getting
I
5.5.
got Seattle. I got Seattle with the over.
And then
I got Seattle with the over. They that 12th man, that is real. For them. They had a great, they had an underrated team last year, and they had a great draft this year. I got Seattle going over.
What you got,
And
Larry?
that's another sucker bet that is just screaming. My mind is telling me no. But hey, I gotta bet the Rams. I gotta bet the Rams. It seems like they're gonna be in Seattle. Everything's setting up. You just gave also their quarterback a new deal for Seattle. They added wide receivers. It all setting up for Seattle. And I'm telling you, the Rams gonna come in there and pee in their Kool-Aid. I just feel it, man. Those one of them sucker bets. Yeah, I just feel like.
Some reason, Larry, I thought you were going to disagree with me on this. I am 100% with you. Think about the goodwill going on in Seattle. Seattle, to your point, I'm not sure if I would have gave Geno all that money, but that's me. I think he had a really decent, but I don't think he's that guy. Just me, my opinion. They can get out of the deal after this year, actually. But the Rams are, the Rams got a lot of stuff to prove. If they have any type of heart. Look, Aaron Donald came back. Matthew Stafford is coming off injury. I know they lost Floyd and Von Miller, but they got a lot of pride on that team. Cooper Kupp is still a beast, and if Matthew can get the ball to him, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. So I would take the over. And to your point, Larry, I think the Rams are not only going to cover, I think they're going to win. I think they'll win that game.
Yeah, I mean, that division right there is so weird with like what team beats what. And I'm not even looking it up, but it feels like the Rams has had Seattle's number. And at least at the beginning of the season. And then the Rams fall off at the end of the season lately. But at the beginning of the season, Rams sneak up on someone always and get a win. They do. McVay, I mean, we might all think he's a cocky coach, but he's a great offensive mind, So if anyone's going to get upset in the beginning of the season, I think Seattle is prime for that. So I'm picking the Rams on that.
Larry, you you just hit on something. Sean McVay get all the credit in the world because he led Baker Mayfield with no hardly any practice with the team, and Baker Mayfield came in there and won a game with Sean McVay's game plan. So to me, that's enough coaching acumen for me to give McVay. I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is gonna be the last one I get on here, fellas, and then I got to get rolling. We're talking about us, man. Our first game of the year, 1:00 at the Benz. Obviously, I'll be there. Y'all will be there, or more importantly, at the post game, talking.
We'll be streaming.
I listen, and I was just about to say,
I'll probably be there.
Give it a quick commercial because there's nobody more entertaining or funny to watch during the game than Larry when things are either going right or wrong. So y'all gotta make sure y'all check out Dixon Way. And then obviously I know as he did last year a lot of times, after the game, he'll shoot over and jump on the show. And then we'll deep dive into the game and stuff. But y'all gotta check out the Dixon Way live reaction this year. It's like sitting with your buddy at the bar and going over the game. That's he brings that to the game, and that's just a selfless plug. I just appreciate what you bring that, man. Atlanta, Carolina. Atlanta at the moment, 3-point favorites, and keep in mind 3 points only because they playing at home. So it looks like they're saying This is pretty much an even game. And currently, the over-under is at 42.5. I'm gonna let you start, and I'm gonna end up with Larry because I'm trying to match him on these picks because I'm trying to see if me and him are in tune on this Atlanta game and see if he says what I think he's gonna say. Go ahead, Winston. What you got?
I got Atlanta winning. I got Atlanta winning by 4 points. We're gonna cover the 42. We most definitely gonna cover the 42. If this offense click, with this defense, correction. If this defense click like we think it's going to be, if this defense get to the middle of the pack, you gotta not understand how many games we would have won last year. With pretty much the same offense. And now this offense been updated all the way around the board. We attacked the offensive line, we attacked the tight end room, we attacked the receiver room and the running back room. I got us covering. I got us winning by at least 4 points. Easy stroll in the park. I got us in that game having about 5 sacks.
Okay. Like we did against New Orleans and lost the game, unfortunately. Talk to me, Larry. What you say on this one? Falcons, 3-point favorite, over under 42. And at 42.5. Let me make sure I get that right. 42 and a hook.
I'm put on my Homer hat. All right. My Homer hat tells me Falcons gonna win. It's gonna be 21-17. We're not getting 42 points in that. Take the under. 21-17. Put it in the bank. Falcons win the first game. Clark Phillips wins the game, sealing it with some cookies. Boom.
The funny thing was, I knew you were going to say the win, but I agree with you 100%. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to come down to the end. Young Waku at the end, hitting the 3. I think this is going to push, y'all. This screams last-second field goal because I think you have two teams on the same trajectory in this game. I think you have two young quarterbacks trying to find their way with teams that have been built around them pretty well. And I think this is going to, we look at last year, the first game was the shootout. The second game was kind of a defensive struggle. It's not like Carolina blew us out of the game in Carolina. Remember, those last touchdowns were scored in the last minute. I look at this as one of those typical Falcon 20-17 games, and I think we're going to push on that one. That's why I'm scared to play this because I don't think right now as we speak, I think we'll win, but I'm not sure if we're better than over 3 right now.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, that's well, you said 21-17 now. So it wasn't like
21-17. That's 4 points, man.
So you're, but you're in the same ballpark as me. So you're saying,
yeah. I don't think we're gonna go over 42.
42. That's my point.
Yeah.
I don't. And remember the type of game we play with ball control. We're gonna be milking the clock. We're not gonna be a strike offense at all.
Ding, ding, ding.
So that's one of the reasons why I look at that. David Starks says he thinks the Falcons 23-20, so he thinks they're going to actually go over and win the game too. But fellas, listen, I appreciate y'all, and not only that, I appreciate everyone joining us here on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Winston, tell them where I know you and John Harris been doing some things on Atlanta Bird game. Tell them what you're doing, and then I'm gonna swing around to Larry in a second to let them know where he at.
You can find me on Facebook, Winston Thornton. Catch me all day, every day in Atlanta Bird Game and the Sports Machine on Facebook, both groups. I'm coming. I'm coming soon. I'm coming
Yeah,
soon with my YouTube channel. I'm on the way.
waiting. Be waiting.
Had
As soon as you get it, man, drop it, and then we'll hit that sub button.
Yeah, I had a minor setback, but I'm on the way with a major comeback. I'm on the way though.
Got you,
but
brother.
yeah.
You got you. Make sure y'all be on the lookout for Winston and some good things. Talk to me, Larry. Like I said again, I don't know if you heard when you first came in. You and Shonda did a great job up there at Flowery Ranch. Enjoyed
Thank
the
you, man.
commentary. Enjoyed what y'all
Most
did
definitely.
up there. A lot of people were watching, as I was, as you know I was, trying to see what y'all doing, man. But tell them where you at, brother.
Yeah. Me and my wife do live commentary on all our favorite sports teams. Braves, Hawks, Falcons, we sprinkle in some Dream also. And we just sit on this couch. We're gonna watch it anyway. So we watching the game and we got the chat open and we answering questions like we sitting in the house all watching the game together. And we reacting to it as it's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's live, raw reactions. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. Live reactions of each thing we commentate. I try to do a good job on it. I'm getting a little bit better. But yeah, that's what we do, man.
You good.
And we just want everybody to come in, Falcon fans sitting in the chat and talking to each other or making, groups on different things, and just come on over to the Dixon Way. Everybody congregate there. If you can't go to the game, turn your TV down, turn the Dixon Way up. Let's go. Let's talk about it. And then when Uncle Steve get in and Tidy get in and they start their show, then we cut off and then we go over there and conversate over there. Let's keep the ball rolling. Come on now.
And he knows how it's been going. That's basically what we're doing this fall, especially in Atlanta Bird Gang. After the games, y'all know, check out me and Tidy. We're going to do some post game. And Mark has been doing a great job on the Atlanta Bird Gang as well. We're going to do some post game this year, so be on the lookout for that. Like I said, right after y'all watch that live reaction on the Dixon Way. All right, fellas.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say the tag. My bad.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But just tag _Dixon_way. That's where you can find us on YouTube, or TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So, guys. Okay, that's it. Sorry.
TikTok acumen is so bad. I got to catch up on TikTok, man. I'm not even close to it. But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, fellas, I appreciate y'all. Let me go down here and get these bets in the house. Until then, y'all fellas take care. I'll be back in the A soon, and we'll catch y'all later on, man. Y'all be good now.
Everybody, brother.